Check.
We are
Did we check?
rolling. Yeah, I checked.
Okay.
So we actually good.
So we're actually live.
We are actually live.
Checking live.
We are checking live.
We check.
Checkity
check.
check. Mic check.
Check.
1, 2.
Check.
This mic sucks. You
and
suck.
hit that button.
We're in your home, we're in your head. Lock the doors and close the blinds. Turn on your TV, turn off your mind.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Yes.
Here we are, back again,
Yes.
telling you about games
Yes.
and sex.
Oh, yes. I love talking about sex.
Here we go
Let's
with.
go.
Well, and I mean, last week's game was,
That was very sexy.
yeah, well, yeah, sexy-ish, I guess.
Sexy-ish.
But
Ish.
not a lot to talk about sex, I guess.
Yeah.
But we hope you enjoyed last week's game. We are Soul of a Gamer.
Yes.
I'm Scott.
I'm Steven.
And here we go with a game.
Yes.
So, again, we hope you enjoyed last week's game, which was...
Hooked on You.
Yep, the Dead by Daylight dating simulator. We really enjoyed that one. That one was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We hope you guys go out and actually play that one, because that one was like...
It is really fun, and it's super cheap, so it's not going to strenuous your wallet or take too much of your time.
Yeah, and I mean, like... every dating simulator we've played so far has been a fun dating simulator.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Honestly,
they've all been, like, good.
I never would have thought about playing dating simulators before this podcast,
Yeah.
but I'm so glad that I've gotten into them, and I have a few more on our list to play. Because I keep
I like how our horny friends are the ones who say, you should play this and jerk off while you do it.
Right? You should play this game so I don't feel bad talking about it.
Your keyboard will be sticky after. Don't worry about that.
All right, if you're jerking off onto your keyboard,
You're
there's
not?
a problem. No, I
What
keep
the
my
hell?
keyboard fucking clean,
What
man.
we agreed to?
I either do it on like a napkin or into like a sock or something. I don't know.
Do it into a sock?
I wouldn't.
I
I haven't
heard-
done that since I was a kid.
You did that at all?
Well, it's only because I saw it on American Pie, and I
just
was
never understood that joke. Like, I know it's like something serious that people did back in the day,
Yeah.
but I never understood why.
It was just
To hide the evidence?
Oh yeah, easy way to hide it and
I
then
guess.
wash it away.
Is toilet paper not an easy way to hide it?
I mean, you spend too much. If you have a parent that's always like wondering what you're doing, or like you're spending too long in the bathroom, or
You
spending
just
too long in the
regulate it
shower.
like a poop would. You would, right? You're disgusting.
I was.
All right,
I was
let's
15 and gross.
let's move into the game we're doing this week, which is
Legacy of Goku.
now this game is insane.
Yes,
'Cause
for a lot of reasons.
Well, it's weird because it's a game that looks like it was specifically made to capture the hype of the current era that it was made in.
yeah,
Like, there's no way they would have made if they made this game today, and people would be like, "What the fuck did you guys do?"
yeah. So this game, from what I've heard and seen a little bit people talking about, is this game was like the first game that we had of Dragon Ball Z. Like, there was one like Dragon Ball Z fighter game that was like really lame and barely had anything. It was basically just like a Street Fighter simulator.
Yeah.
With their
So
skins on it.
I played that game, and it was actually a lot of fun, but it was weird.
Yeah.
Like, that's a game that came out. I remember this because it came out for PlayStation and N64,
Mhm.
and I had it on N64. And we would play it, and my friends would be like, "Wow, this game sucks on N64. Let's play it on PlayStation." It was so much better on PlayStation.
Yeah. But it was like almost like the Shadouken was almost like the Kamehameha wave. It was like that kind of a faster.
It was interesting. It was an interesting game. I don't know. It was interesting, but it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. And it had way too many fucking characters you could play. You could play like every character.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
At least I had
you
that.
could play Oolong.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it was very strange.
But yeah, so this was one of the first games, and they came out
2001?
Yeah,
I
something
think
like that.
2001. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it really... This was a game to capture the popularity of Dragon Ball Z at the time. Because in America, it was huge. I don't even know if this game was made for Japan. That's how little I don't think it was. Because
I don't think so.
Because honestly, how fucking like... The time period, Dragon Ball Z was over in Japan, I think.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure it was. I think he finished writing it in like 96. And the anime probably finished in like 98, 99.
Because I know they had a bunch of other games in Japan, but this was one of the first games that came over to Britain and America.
Yeah. Oh, I guarantee this one was made for American.
Probably.
I guarantee.
100%.
But Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like they were trying to capture the glory of it, and that's why this game was so popular. Because you'll hear like people who played it at the day. I remember playing this game when it came out. It was amazing. It was so cool. And now I play it, I'm like, oh, it's not good. It is not
and
good
a
at
lot
all.
of people say like you got to play the entire series of these games because I think there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
And everyone says the second one fixes everything. Every problem that you had with the first one, it fixes.
It makes it's more fun. It took out the flying mechanic, which is good because the flying mechanic was completely worthless.
Yeah.
And it just that stationary fighting is not in it like it is in here. Like you can't run and punch in here. You have to like walk up, stand still, punch, walk back, stand still, punch, walk back, stand still, punch.
And we should say this game was made for the Game Boy Advance. Yeah. So the controls are very, very basic.
Excuse you.
And the walking controls were just like the walking controls of the sprites in Pokemon. So getting them accurately to line up with each other for hits, sometimes frustrating.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll talk about that more when we talk about playing.
We'll jump into our first segment, which is
What's on the Box?
This game for sure had a box.
It does.
For sure. Like this, we're talking about 2001. Every game had a fucking box.
Everything.
PlayStation did. I think the original PlayStation came out in CD cases, but still kind of like a box.
Yeah, I mean, they were still had a back and a front, and
not
they were still
as cool
cases. It was like buying an album or something.
I don't think until they got to PlayStation 2 did they start using actual boxes.
I don't think so. I think you're right.
But this came in like
even
the Game Boy Advance
2, I think, was still the CD cases.
Yeah, the Game Boy Advance games were cool too because they came in like a cardboard box, and there was nothing to hold the Game Boy Advance game besides this cardboard box that had a little indent in it, and it was just funny because you're like, wow, anyone could just like pop this open and steal.
Oh, easily,
and put it, and no one would know. And now then that's the reason Walmart and shit just put it into a glass container so people wouldn't steal shit.
Or GameStop has all their cases empty. And they have to put the games in.
They probably learned from after the first month losing 90% of their products.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right, so let's jump into the box here.
Dragon Ball Z, The Legend of Goku, will take you on an incredible journey to protect the universe from the evil Frieza once and for all. You'll use combat strategies to help fulfill the legacy of Goku, the greatest warrior the universe has ever known. The kidnapping of Goku's son Gohan threatens the safety of the universe. The future depends on your ability to use your powers to help Goku defeat his enemies. Get ready to power up.
Get ready to power up! I want to hear the game features. So you play as Goku through the Saiyan, Namek, and Frieza sagas. Interact with more than... the Namek and the Frieza sagas are the same thing. Interact with more than 75 characters while exploring a huge universe. That's funny. Because most of them are like, hey, I like you. Okay.
I like flowers.
Yeah, that's it. Literally. Only like 25 are quest oriented. What is that? Complete quest to build up your level
of key.
I don't know what the fuck that means. Experience in inventory. Use melee and key combat to defeat your enemies. Master different energy attacks, key blast, solar flares, and Kamehameha. Yeah, this box is shit.
Yeah.
Nothing in here is true.
I mean, they're true in ways, but they're not great.
I love how it said, you got to get strategies to win this game. I'm like, there's no strategies.
There is barely any strategies.
You run and you punch.
The only strategies there are, which we'll get more into with how you play, is using the solar flare.
That's the only good thing in the game.
Yeah.
It's the only good thing. This game, I think they had an opportunity to do good, and they really didn't.
Yes.
And it doesn't follow the anime at all.
No.
Not really.
It skips so much.
And the only reason I bring this up is because during the game, it has flashes of the anime.
Yeah, it's really compressed, condensed versions of the actual scenes from the anime.
Yeah, and they're all just pictures, and it's just all lame. It's like it shows Goku flying on Snake Way, and you're like, oh, okay, but we're not doing that.
Right.
We're not doing it. In the anime, he met the Snake Princess in a weird house that had a whole and that was the filler. That wasn't really part of the manga, I think. But he didn't meet her just on Snake Way and then attack her.
Yeah.
It's weird that they get into all this weird stuff. I know that they didn't have an opportunity to really make it good.
Yeah.
But it was not a good game quest wise or anything wise.
Yeah. Well, and this. The game has serious pacing issues because it is on these sagas, But throughout most of these sagas in the story, Goku's either dead or traveling.
Yeah.
So, like, most of the time it's other characters, which it's like, why do you have Legacy of Goku for this when you could have had more with other characters?
Yeah,
like,
which, again, they later games fix that.
Yeah.
They jump into more of like, okay, we understand that we messed up. We put one part of a huge story in here. We're going to put every part in for the next one.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I think that's a cool thing sometimes. Sometimes I wish we could play a game before the sequel comes out, so we can complain about it, and then so they can fix it. We can feel like they did something right.
Well, I mean, we're gonna have that with Cinema Sacrifice, because we're doing that pretty soon.
Nice.
And the second one's coming out very shortly in the next couple months.
Nice.
So we'll be able to play that, say what we want about the game, and then when the second one comes out, we can be like, wow, the first one did have a lot more problems than I thought about.
It's interesting because it's like we're stuck in this mode where we do an old game where they already released a sequel where we wish they would have done this, and then people are like, yeah, they already did that in the second game.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, well that's good.
Well, yeah, I mean, cool, but in this game they didn't.
They
so
didn't
we
do it in this one.
wished it was there for this one.
Yeah. So let's jump into our next one, which is
Are We Jammin?
No. Like the music in this is just not good. They decided not to put the theme song, which I think we really lacked.
Yeah.
The dragon, enter the dragon. Or like, here come the dragon, ballsy. And that was a sweet theme song. They should have put that in the opening credit for this, I think.
And I will say, going further with this too, Scott's a way bigger Dragon Ball Z fan than I am. I know you've watched and have all the anime and stuff like that. I have watched the Dragon Ball movie, a few episodes of the anime, and I've watched the abridged series.
Yeah.
And played this game.
Yeah, and it's not that the game's music was just lacking in a weird sense, but this is like when we play Pokemon.
Yeah.
We love the music they chose for that. It's like digitally unique. It's kind of, some areas are spooky, some areas are happy, some areas are exciting. But in this one, it just felt all the same all the time.
Yeah. Well, even for different items or picking them up or using them, there wasn't sound effects for that.
No, and there wasn't like when you're in a fight, there's no serious sound effect for the fight. Like
there's no like ooh when you hit somebody or something, like something to have some weight to what you're doing. I can do
without that, because that would get annoying to me because you're hitting so much.
Yeah.
But I would like more serious music in the Frieza fight.
For sure.
I would like more humble music in the forest section where you're just walking through a fucking forest, you're beating the shit out of snakes.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the only other sound effect that I remember is if you hold down your Kamehameha wave.
He'll say, Kamehameha!
Yeah. He'll say it, but you have to hold it like all the way to charge it to full capacity for it.
Yeah, which is worthless.
Yeah.
Which is complete. We'll get into that. Yeah, the music in this game, no voice actors.
Nope, it's all just text based.
Yep, text to speech or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't know. It could have done more with the music.
Yeah.
They could have pulled some even just pulling some of the music from the anime, which is written really well.
Yeah.
Like the somber moments are written really well in the anime, and they should have brought that in. It's like when we watch an anime we really like, and you're like, man, I love, like when you watch Naruto and you hear the getting ready music and you're like, oh yeah, something's about to happen. Like that's what you want from these games too. You want that getting ready music. You want that sad music. something sad just happened. Like, and obviously as a person, you know that already. If someone dies, you know that that's sad.
Yeah, exactly.
But the how do I put this? Having that extra music in there to accentuate those feelings.
Oh, it 100% changes everything.
Everything. It makes it so much better.
It's the same in movies. It's the same in TV shows. Like, that's why soundtracks are so important. We made it a subject on this, like a whole category. It's because soundtrack and dialogue in these things especially dialogue, but are super important. And it can really make a scene. Like, I don't know how many times I've seen videos on TikTok where people make take trailers and change the song to it. And the trailer's so much better. Yeah. Like, they didn't change any part of the trailer, but just changing the song made it that much more. Or if
on TikTok you see someone who's just crying because they're a big bitch baby. Yeah. But they wanted to cry, so they had this sad music playing over the top of it. You're like, oh, man, that seems so much sadder now. If they're just crying on TikTok, you're like,
skip.
Can you just go fuck off already?
Then you hear the beautiful song with it, and you're like, oh, that's just such a song. Yeah, I'm a little sad. I could cry too.
Like, this music matters, and with games like I get it. I think the GBA games were hard.
Yeah, they really were.
Because they're, compressed files and shit, and it just, you've got this, like, tiny amount of memory to use. You have to put a fucking battery in there just to have the save state run. Like, I can't imagine how hard it was to get this shit to work right. And then to add music on top of that. I get it. It's hard. But you still got to put good shit in there. Yeah. You got to try.
You got to put a little bit more effort into it.
Like, this is a game when I was a kid, you had the volume knob on the fucking Game Boy. I can see me just turning it all the way down.
Oh,
I wouldn't have any point to turning it. I rarely used the music unless I was playing, like, Pokemon
I had it, like, halfway down. Like, I could barely hear it because I just got annoyed with it throughout the game. Like, it was just nothing. Like, it didn't change anything. So I was like, why even listen to it?
Yeah, and to your benefit, I mean... Obviously, when you punch, you had a hit sound, like a clack, clack, whatever it was. Like in Pokemon, that doesn't get annoying, but in here, it got a little annoying. Yeah. It was just a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that it for music?
I think so, yeah. Dialogue, I mean, it's pretty... For someone who was not a huge Dragon Ball fan and didn't know the story fully well, it gave me enough of the story to make me really interested in finding out more information of the story. I will say that
reactions for some stuff is weird. So if you did watch the anime, you know that Goku's like a man-child.
Yeah.
And that's pretty apparent with anything you play or do or whatever. And even in here, he's kind of like a giant, like, Frieza's destroying the universe and he's still looking for artifacts on Namek to throw. That's just his stupid nature.
Oh, okay.
He's trying to do everything for everyone.
Yeah.
And he has a kid, Gohan.
Yeah.
But in the anime, when in the manga, when he brings a kid to the Roshi Island for reunion, they're like, "What? You had a child?"
Right. Which I could tell that a little bit, but it wasn't as crazy as from a lot of the other.
You don't get that reaction, and they didn't really do that in the text either, because sometimes they'll be like shock or something, gas.
Yeah. And there one other instance for me, when Goku fights Raditz, and Piccolo just stands off on the side, and then Piccolo walks up and kills you both, and then Goku the next scene you just spawn in front of King Yami. And for somebody who doesn't know that story fully, I don't think this explained it well enough.
No.
What all happened and how he's dead.
So I know it's weird because Piccolo's charging up his beam.
Yeah.
And this is the only time this happens in all of Dragon Ball Z where they have to spend this, unless it's a Spirit Bomb, which is way bigger than the Special Beam Cannon. It's just, you're right. It's stupid that in that entire fight you see a person who's supposed to be there helping you just go off to the side and do nothing.
Yeah, they have all this dialogue about him helping you fight and him finally settling their differences and going forth. This is the big bad. We need to separate, deal with this guy first, and then we can fight each other. Yeah. And then he just stands off and then comes in and kills you both. And then you just spawn in front of this giant purple guy at a desk.
Who's God?
And you're like, who the fuck is this character? I don't know anything about this. Where the fuck am I? They're talking about me being dead.
Yeah.
Who is King Yami? Why is he telling me I have to go on this bridge? Which they don't even tell you how long this bridge is. They just tell you only one person survived.
Yeah.
Going through it. Which I started playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot after this because I love the story so much. It's 627,000 mile long bridge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? That would have been good information to have in there.
Yeah. That's important and it's interesting. And what's stupid is too that they jump into this with some weird stuff only one person's ever passed this bridge. Okay, why even mention that?
Yeah.
Why? To show how deadly the bridge is? Who cares?
Right.
Obviously it's not going to be a deadly bridge in a video game, so just stop being a stupid bitch.
And why is it a deadly bridge when you're already dead? That's the thing that I don't understand. Can you die after dying?
Yes, you can. You just don't get it.
No, I don't.
You can die, then die, and then die again. You can die 6 times.
It seems like you can in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, it's weird. They really didn't explore afterlife well. I think that introducing that concept into, a story at all, unless it's seriously the end, Murdered Soul Suspect.
Yeah.
That was the end.
Yeah,
That was it. That was you. As soon as you were done with your story, you got to go be with your ex-wife who was dead.
Yep.
And that makes sense. But in here, it's the end is not really the end. You have to make it the end.
Yeah.
It's got to be the end all be all. Otherwise, you're just, even in there, it's you can get dragged down to hell, which is not what you want. Stay in purgatory as long as you can.
Which they had a little hell segment kind of thing in this.
Yeah, kind of.
It doesn't
weird. Seem that bad, or does it?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on, I guess.
How does it play?
Not well.
Garbage.
Yeah, this game... Punching is the most obnoxious thing because, again, I already said you have to stand still and punch. You have to go back, stand still, punch. Go back, stand still, punch. Yeah, it's so annoying.
And sometimes you'll think you're in line to hit them, and then you completely miss.
So let's start at the beginning here. The game is completely unbalanced.
Yes.
Enemies are way too strong in the beginning and near the end.
Just throughout the entire game. It's just
you have a
ridiculous.
health bar and a number that associates with that health bar, but they don't really do damage to your health bar. They do a percentage damage.
Yeah.
So like every time you get hit, it's always like 33 to 50% fucking damage.
Yeah.
Like what's the point? What's the point of even having like a health bar that has a number on it? Just don't even put a fucking number. Just say they do 33% damage.
Well, and like everything just seems so random because there'd be times I would solar flare someone and hit them, they would die one hit.
Yeah.
Then there would be times I solar flare hit, solar flare hit, solar flare hit, solar flare hit, and they still weren't dying. And I was like, what the hell?
I think
like,
that's
why
the
isn't this
crit
guy?
chance on there. Because I
Yeah.
think their crit is huge. It's probably like 10 times crit damage.
It must be because like there was times I would one shot everything, and it seemed to be like the distance too. Like if I fully charged up solar flare at max distance and then ran up and punched them, they would die instantly. But if I solar flared right next to them and punched them, they would survive.
I have the exact opposite. I just solar flared for 1 second right next to them, and then I would kill them in one hit.
See, and I never had that.
Yeah. It's all luck. It's all that crit chance. But like the stupid part is if you press start in this fucking game and you look at the options, there are no stat options.
No.
Which is important to understand what you're fucking playing. Because you had no way to like A, build your stats, you know, that's important. And B, see like, okay, I have a 5% crit chance.
Yeah.
Or like explain the moves. If you explain solar flare, if you use this move, then
it'll stun your enemy and you'll get 20% extra crit traits.
Yeah, which makes more sense to me than just showing like you have an option to look at your abilities, but it just says solar flare.
Yeah.
And that's it. What's the point in that? Why even care about the name?
No, seriously.
I was floored by this. Like they just put that in there to have an options menu.
Well, and like having like the Kamehameha wave, if I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry. In there and stuff like that, like they didn't tell you could charge it at all.
Yeah, it wasn't blue.
It was, why not just make that line blue? They made it just a straight line.
And
it looked
yellow.
awful.
It's yellow, and the line gets like not longer but bigger, like taller.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah, it's not length, it's width gets bigger. And it's huge. No, it gets huge, and you're like, why is the width so big?
Mine never got that big.
Oh, if you charge it all the way, like if you do a small one, you see a tiny blip go up.
Well, yeah.
If you charge it all the way, it's a bigger blip, but it's like.
Well, it seemed like on mine, like it kept on like glitching, and it would only show like half of it.
No, that's what it's supposed to do.
Oh,
that's the weird part. It's like it gets big and then it gets small really fast.
But
it's like stupid. It's not a continuous line or anything. It's just like a block you're throwing at them.
Yeah, and it's
take this block.
Bad. It takes forever to charge. The enemies walk too fast for you to get a full charge most of the time.
And like it doesn't do any damage. The problem is
it does late game.
Does it? Because I never had it kill anything.
I got to a point late game where I was farming between levels of 20 and 25 where I found I needed to farm because they said that you needed to be low. I thought you had to be level 25 because it said you should be level 25 before fighting Frieza. No. So I farmed all the way to 25.
I did 22. And that was just naturally getting there. I didn't farm at all.
Again, a thing they don't explain.
Yeah.
So, and even like when I would go into the room, they're like, well, I could spend more time training.
Yeah.
And so I was like, fine, I'll get to 25. And so there was some parts where I found that you could like, if there's an enemy right on the edge of a map, you could go into that map, Kamehameha wave full charge, kill him, instant kill him, go back, and he'd spawn again. And you could just keep going back and forth and getting 30,000 experience every time. And that was the best way to farm, but it took me forever.
Yeah,
it was so annoying.
Yeah, it's boring farming in this game.
So boring.
The level up system is bad too.
Yeah.
They have it to where the first 21 levels, like they're pretty reasonable with how much you need.
Mm-hmm.
And then after level 21, you get to level 22. Between 21 and 22, it was 90,000 to level up, and between 22 and 23, it was 1,005,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 1.5 million.
Yeah, and I'm like, why the fuck did it go up so much? Why blow up that much so quick?
I thought it was a glitch or something because I was like looking at that. I was like, there's no way it just went from like 140,000 or 90,000 or whatever it was to 1.5 million.
Yeah, and that's a stark increase, and it doesn't make any sense. It was a stupid thing to do, especially because your levels don't really matter because you don't have stats. And you have no idea what a level would do for you.
I'm pretty sure from 24 to 25, you only needed 400,000 experience.
Yeah, it gets weird.
It was like so weird that I like jumped up and spiked real hard and then it like dropped back down.
I don't know if that's they're trying to get you like to play the game more, but this isn't like an MMO. Like,
no,
the screen time doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But yeah, I don't know. Combat-wise, this game was lacking. Punching was hard. Solar Flare was your most useful ability, and even that was kind of useless.
Yeah.
I didn't use Key Blast at all. They just got useless
I
after
did
a
at the
while.
beginning, but then it just got annoying.
Yeah.
And even that, it was hard to hit some things. It's just so much of this thing just had troubles with aiming and stuff, and it was just that lining everything up perfectly and trying to get the exact distance of.
There's no diagonal movement in this game. It's all like they just said fuck the Pythagorean theorem. And
it's all X and Y axis.
Oh, I got to tell you this really fast. So I was at dinner with Lana and her family for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And someone at the table, she's a fucking idiot apparently. She's like, what's the Pythagorean? And then I'm like, wait, you don't know what the Pythagorean theorem is? like I get it that it's not like something it's actually something I use every day because maps.
Oh yeah.
It's basically saying don't go up and side, go across to get to where you're fucking going. But it's interesting because like it's not something you use or think about, but it's something you do know. Yeah. Like
it's kind of like the quadratic formula. A lot of us remember that.
Yeah, and like because you use it. You use it in some capacity, and she said that and I was like, you're a fucking moron. Just get out. Get out of here.
Goodbye.
Anyway, so the balancing. Let's get back to the balancing. The game's balance is fucking horrendous to the point that when I was looking for ROMs for this game, everyone's like, "Don't worry, we fixed the balance in this ROM." And I didn't want to take one of those ROMs. I wanted the original game.
Yeah, which I mean, I get to the extent, but God, it was just awful because like you are basically a god.
Well, not in the beginning.
Not in the beginning. But
so if you look at the anime, and this is where we can tie in a little bit.
Yeah.
At the end of the Dragon Ball anime before Dragon Ball Z, he fights Piccolo.
Yeah.
Piccolo and him are about equal power. He's a little bit stronger. Not much, but a little bit. Piccolo is able to throw an energy blast that destroys an entire fucking mountaintop.
Yeah.
So you're telling me he can do that?
But he can't fight a wolf.
But he can't kill a wolf in one hit.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Just insane. And even like you can kill squirrels and snakes in one hit.
Yeah, which again was just like, why even incorporate squirrels and snakes?
Oh, and I thought it was funny too.
Because they get like one experience.
You go into your house, near your house, and there's a bunch of killer crabs. And I'm like, oh shit. Who knew the killer crabs would make a comeback?
Yeah. Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, we got killer crabs.
On you, I guess.
Two games in a row, killer crabs.
Let's go for 3.
All right, you only see those in the beginning though. Like there was literally just make them fucking wolves.
Well, and it was just weird. And like the crabs were way easier to kill than the wolves were.
Wolves are annoying and they're fast, and you're a little bit faster than them, but not much.
And then I will say one of the biggest problems is the first dinosaur you find, you can go up to and you talk to, and she says this thing about missing her egg. And you need to go find her egg.
Yeah.
Every single other dinosaur, if you get even anywhere near their proximity, immediately jumps to attack you.
Yep.
So it's so weird that the first time we meet a dinosaur, go talk to it. Every other time in the game, annihilation.
Yeah, it's really, and the dinosaurs are strong.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of annoying to fight something that's way stronger than you.
Well, and you really wanted to play this on a ROM because saving this game, you always spawn back to the beginning of the area.
That actually works out well sometimes.
It does work out well sometimes.
So if you're low on health and don't have any heal items, you could save and then die, and you still keep your experience count, but you're at full health and full keep.
Yes.
So,
which was nice, but you could also, if you're playing on a ROM, you could save it wherever and save state it, and it was so much better.
Yeah, you could press a button just to do that. But yeah, it's insane how unbalanced this game is. And at no point do you feel strong.
No.
At no point do you feel...
Even when you become a Super Saiyan, you
get
a slight speed boost that you barely notice.
Yeah.
And that's all that you get.
Yeah.
You get yellow hair and a slight speed boost.
And maybe a slight strength increase, but you have no idea.
Yeah, because there's no health bars. And there's no damage numbers. Yeah. You're not knowing what you're doing at any time.
That's something that could have been perfect for this game.
Yes.
Every time you hit, it shows how much damage you're doing.
Seriously. Or just having a health bar. Like, it's not that much more things.
Even if it doesn't have a health bar, at the very least, if it shows the damage, you know how much damage you need to kill something.
Yeah.
Right? You can add that up in your brain.
Yeah.
But in this game, for some reason, no damage. No fucking anything.
You have no idea when someone's close to dead or not. Yep. You don't know how long the boss fight's going to be. You have no clue on anything.
Yeah.
Ever.
Quests in this game are kind of lame.
We'll get into that to the story.
No, it's not really a story thing. That's a mechanic thing.
I guess it is kind of
We'll just talk like... In general, it's just basically find items and give items, and that's it.
Which is really stupid.
Yeah.
Like, first thing you do in this game is find porn magazines from Master Roshi at his house.
That he
first
lost that are
quest.
just lying on the ground. And you're like, how did you...
And they're like, we don't want the kids to see it, but one's sitting right in front of Gohan.
Yeah. And he's like the only kid there.
Yeah.
I get even mad. He's only like 3 years old or 4 years old or something like that.
Well, and it's really weird too, because like they didn't have a lot of like sprite images. So like one of the magazines looked like it had Bulma's face on it, and the other one looked like it had Chi-Chi's face on it. And I'm like, okay, so why are Bulma and Chi-Chi on these porn magazines?
My favorite is there's a quest you have to complete a bunch of quests to fight Raditz. And the guy's like, I will not let you.
That was so stupid.
I'm like,
I was gonna bring that up.
My son is fucking kidnapped. What are you talking about? I want to go save my son. Let me do this without doing the fucking quests.
Yeah. You get to this village and this old man's like, I won't let you leave until you find a cat, you pick some flowers, you find a toy boat for a kid.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck? Like, and you do this being as powerful as you are, and you could just push this guy out of the way and go fly to wherever you wanted to go.
Ground
you even have access in the anime. I'm pretty sure he had access to Nimbus at this time.
Yep.
So he could have just flown wherever and at any time.
And he can fly.
Well, yeah, and he could just fly.
So yeah,
but like you have several modes of transportation to get wherever you need to, and you're dealing with this old man to do these like quests that have nothing to do with Dragon Ball in the slightest. And I saw this one review of the game where they were like, last time on Dragon Ball Z, Goku leaves his son in the clutches of Raditz to pick flowers and save kittens.
Yeah. Like in the movie mechanic too is so fucking annoying.
Oh, it's so terrible.
Like, I don't like it when they, like, almost when you get a character. So say you have like a quest to pick up a character.
Yeah.
Right? So you're going with saving the little girl or saving the cat, and they have to follow you.
Yeah.
Like in other games, they turn those things into items and say, okay, this is now an item. That way you don't have to worry about it fucking following behind you and messing up your view. And this game didn't do that. Decided to have it actually follow you. And I'm like, just turn it into a fucking item.
Yeah.
Just say that it's a fucking video. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, it didn't have any like different animations for like flying them down off of rocks or anything. Just
no, it's like they disappear as if you're holding them, but you're not because your arms are out like Superman.
Yeah.
it's just so stupid. And the quest too, some of them are so dumb. You meet some of the old characters in this game, Tien and Yamcha
and Poro and
Power.
Yeah, Power. Sorry.
Power.
I couldn't think of it.
And Chiaotzu.
Yeah.
And they just give you experience. I'm like, what is the point in this?
Yeah. You talk to them. They have a little tiny thing with them, which you probably wouldn't even know what they were saying other than just, hi, how are you doing? Here's 500 experience.
Yeah. And that's all. And you're like, how did I just get this? What did I do?
Yeah.
I taught you something, but you said that you're bored. Yeah, I taught you something. It's so stupid. Like Yamcha's is like, I became a baseball star, but I'm kind of bored with it. Here's 500 experience.
It's like, who are you?
Yeah. If you've never watched Dragon Ball Z, you would have no idea who these people are. No fucking clue.
No, seriously.
Yeah, I can't. What are the other quests? They're just all so fucking forgettable.
Yeah, like we said, like getting the toy boat from the middle, saving the old man, collecting the 3 stones.
Yeah, when you can fucking fly.
Yeah, you can fly, and you can fly carrying people, but you have to find 3 stones, put them in the water to make a bridge walkway for this old man.
Yeah.
That got there somehow.
He's like, my stones washed away. I'm like, aren't these stones just going to wash away?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why am I putting this?
Like, what the fuck?
Seems like a lot of work.
Flying?
And he's an archaeologist, but I'm like, you're on an island like that's 2 times the size of you?
Yeah.
Not very big for archaeology, guy.
Well, and that's just one of the things that I think we have really grown to hate in a lot of these video games. When you have a mechanic in the game that solves all the issues of what you're trying to make us do.
But you have to ignore that mechanic.
But you have to, yeah, exactly. It makes it aggravatingly annoying. Yeah. It just...
yeah, we literally quests in this game are just worthless. There's no story significance to them. Like with quests in other games, they add to story. You get some cool shit out of it. You get some backstory out of it. This, not so much.
No.
It's like a pseudo RPG. You have a level system, clearly. Yeah. But because you don't have stats, because you don't understand what you're doing, because you don't have backstory, it's like there's no point in calling this an RPG. You might as well stay at level 1 and just punch things.
Yeah.
I can't even tell if I get stronger.
You can't tell at
Because,
all.
like, at level 1, I was hitting a wolf 5 times to kill it. At level 15, I was hitting a wolf 5 times to kill it. So I have no idea if I'm strong or not.
Yeah. I think only until between the levels of, like, 22 to 25 did I actually feel somewhat strong, and I could one-shot most of the animals.
I mean, I was doing one-shotting at level 18.
Yeah.
But again, solar flare.
Still, that's being most of the way through the game.
Yeah.
Before you feel strong when you're playing a character that is strong.
And then one last thing before we go, we'll talk about the abilities. So we already talked about Kamehameha.
Yeah.
We have a Ki Blast ability and Solar Flare. Solar Flare stuns an enemy and then probably adds crit chance. We don't know for sure, but we're just guessing because after a Solar Flare, you can one-shot someone, but if you hit them, you don't.
It's so weird because the Solar Flare, it looks like it goes in front of you and a little bit to both sides.
Yeah.
But this thing had a 360
stun
radius that was decently big, actually, because it only showed like it went like 2 blocks.
Yeah.
But it was actually like the stun itself would go like 5-6 blocks or whatever it was. And it was actually kind of ridiculous because I didn't realize the stun was going that far at first. I thought I had to keep getting close to them and actually hitting them with the graphic that shows up.
Yeah.
That's like right in front of you. So I kept getting really close. And then I was like, oh, I can stun them from far away and then
From
walk up and punch.
I want.
And then back up and stun them again and walk up and punch. Like, that's so much easier.
And yeah, so Solar Flare was the most used. That's the only one I use. Ki Blast, I mean, you'll use a little bit in the front of it because you want to get from level 1 to 5 pretty much. But after that, you don't use them ever again. And I never use Kamehameha. I always felt like that was just such a useless fucking ability.
I used it a lot at the end.
Yeah, but with a case-by-case narrative, it sounds like you were just using it.
Well, and I couldn't figure out
Frieza?
Because I didn't figure out how to do the Solar Flare punch thing for a while. So I started using Kamehameha Wave. And then I started more trying to do the Solar Flare punch thing because a lot of the things
I you get Solar Flare and then
I also did that sometimes.
Kamehameha and see if that does anything, but I have no idea.
I did use Kamehameha Wave on some of Frieza's fight, and I used all my health potions on the Frieza fight.
You did?
Yeah.
You're trash, dude. I didn't.
Dude, I struggled a lot.
The Frieza fight, I beat Frieza's first form in 2 hits, second form in 4 hits, third form in 6 hits, and the last form in 10 hits.
I don't know how many hits I had for each one, but I mean,
I was counting because I was like, my first dinosaur took 45 hits.
Oh god, the dinosaurs sometimes. The dinosaurs, the first couple times I found them, took forever to kill. And then I got to a point where I was like
one-shotting.
One-shotting the flying dinosaurs, the pterodactyls or whatever.
Yeah, I would 2-shot the big ones.
And then I still wasn't even 2-shotting the big ones.
Well, you only hit once. Remember, only your first hit off Solar Flare gets the crit bonus. Well, everything else subsequent doesn't.
I was Kamehameha waving on all the creatures and animals.
So that's why I do a short Solar Flare, hit them once, go back, Solar Flare, hit them again, and they'd be dead. Because I get double crit chance. It's 10 times crit damage, probably, or maybe 150 million times. Who fucking knows? But yeah, the boss fights in this, very boring.
Very boring.
Once you learn the Solar Flare trick, Raditz, it took me forever.
Well, and every single walkthrough of this game says that's what you should do. Yeah. Just Solar Flare punch, Solar Flare punch, Solar Flare punch.
Yeah. So the Raditz, it took forever because I didn't realize that at that point. I was still charging it up to hit 6 times or whatever, and that was a bad idea. You just charge it up a little, hit once. Yeah. But after I learned, I think I was in the Vegeta fight, not in it, but right before it. I didn't learn this in the Vegeta fight. So Vegeta and Nappa were a little hard too, but they took a lot less time than Raditz. Yeah. But then once I got to Frieza, I'm like, okay, I've mastered Solar Flare. I figured it out when I was in the Namekian temple. Because I would notice that sometimes I would hit one shot and sometimes I wouldn't. I'm like, so there has to be a crit chance, but why is it only happening after my first hit? Yeah. Because I was hitting once sometimes and killing him, then hitting 7 times after Solar Flaring and not killing anything.
And then the easiest bosses in this game are the Gensu 5.
Yeah, the Ginyu Force?
Or Ginyu Force, sorry.
What'd you say, the Gensu 5?
Gensu 5. Whatever, Ginyu Force. The 5 Ginyus.
Yeah, they were boring as shit.
Yeah. And they didn't really explain who they were or what they were or...
They're Frieza's top guys.
Yeah, but knowing the story more now, because like I said, I'm playing Kakarot, I'm like, oh, so much of this makes so much more sense.
They didn't even do the switching body thing that Captain America does.
That was so weird.
That's like a big staple in the manga and the anime, but for some reason, I get why they didn't do it. It's hard to do that.
Probably,
Yeah.
but...
So, like, and after that fight, you're pretty much at death's door in the anime, and in this, you're, like, still fighting things
Yeah.
all around you. Yeah. All right, let's move on to story time.
It's story time. Let's get started.
So, story is, the anime story.
Yeah, it's exactly what you think it is. Just, they skip giant sections of it.
Yeah, they didn't do any other story but Goku's part in it.
Yep.
So, the first part, Raditz comes, steals your kid. You have to go find him. We explain that you have a bunch of side quests you have to do to get to Raditz. But then, in the original story, you just went straight to Raditz.
And then once you die, it skips 30 episodes of the anime and goes right into Namek.
No, once you die,
it goes to King Yami.
Yeah, you go to Snake Way.
Yeah.
And then you fall off Snake Way and you go to Hell.
Yeah.
But then you get out of Hell and you're back on Snake Way.
Yeah.
And then suddenly there's a bunch of flying orbs that you can use.
Yeah.
That weren't fucking there before.
Yeah.
So annoying.
And then you can fly your way through Snake Way to get to Kami. No, not Kami. Who is that?
King Kai.
King Kai, yes.
Kami is
Kami,
God.
yeah.
I love the abridged version of it because he's like, "Who do you think you are naming yourself Kami?" Yami saying that to Kami.
Oh, okay.
It's like, what? You think you could just name yourself God? Well, what if I'm Super Kami? It's good. It's funny. They should have done the abridged story.
Yeah.
For this game. That would have been way funnier.
It definitely would have been.
Yeah, you make it to King Kai and you do the stupid catch the monkey and hit the cricket on the head.
Yeah.
Bobo, and I can't remember the cricket's name. Gregory? I think it's Gregory.
Something like that.
Yeah, and you basically, like, they rush this so much. You're on King's Kai planet for like a minute.
Yeah.
And then you learn the Kamehameha wave.
Yep.
Which you should have known all along.
Yes.
Because you learned that way sooner in the anime.
Yeah, because he learns the spirit bomb when he's with King
Yeah,
Kai.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, but for some reason in here, it is the Kamehameha wave.
Which was so weird. I was like, wait, didn't he always not always have that?
But as a kid, he learned
yeah.
it. So it's just interesting that they decided to change it so much. I think the spirit bomb was hard for them.
Probably.
It's cool looking in the subsequent games. I love the way it like goes really slow.
Oh, nice.
And you can throw it as a big fucking ball.
Oh, okay.
It's so cool looking.
Nice.
But yeah, after you go, like, this is the weird part. Like, you would think that your friends are dying, so you'd go straight there.
Yeah, and then you go and plant some trees for some Namekians.
No. Before this. So the Vegeta and the Nappa fight.
Oh, yeah.
You go to a forest.
Yeah.
And you're just like walking through the forest. I'm like, why the fuck didn't I just go straight to the battle zone?
Yeah, that was so weird.
What am I in a forest for? Fighting snakes still.
That in the anime is them rushing through time to get to his friends.
Through time?
Or not rushing through time, but rushing for time.
Yeah. He goes to, I think, Kami's lookout and then has to fly there.
Yeah.
Which he should be able to do that instantaneously, but for some reason he doesn't.
Yeah.
Plot armor says no.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, in this you go to a forest and before a city, and then you find some capsules that you can give to an old man.
Yep.
Or a kid.
I can't remember.
I think both of them asked for one, so I gave each one.
Oh, okay.
It was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's again more quests. You have to find a little boy, I think, in this one.
Yeah.
Bring him back. I died here. I was kind of annoyed. I got kind of far and then I kept forgetting to save.
Oh.
And I fought a dinosaur and I died and I was like, shit. My dumbass.
Yeah. I died a lot in this game. I'm not going to die.
Yeah, you die a lot. Like I said, there's no real health bar. It's just percentage health.
Yeah.
They always do 50% of your fucking health.
One of the things I also got annoyed by with mechanics that I didn't talk about earlier. Healing in this game. The herbs. It says it heals you 25% of your health.
Yeah. But which makes me even more...
It's 25% of your missing health it gives you back.
Oh, really?
So you have to take 4 capsules to full heal, or 4 herbs to full heal every time.
Herbs grow back, so you can always get more.
Yeah, I mean, it's super easy to get them, but it was kind of annoying that it wasn't like a set It was 25% of your missing health every time. So the more you're missing, the more it would give you.
Sensu beans would heal you full, but you only could find a limited number of those.
Yeah, and those...
And you can only carry 3.
But yeah, and you can only carry 6 herbs.
Yeah, it was really... I think that was a dumb part for me. Because the beans are like that big. They were super tiny. You put them all in a fucking bag.
Yeah.
Like, why the hell can you only carry 3 of them?
Yeah.
Just stupid.
And they use them quite a bit in the anime.
Yeah, and like, well, from this point on, they don't. Does that make sense? Like,
okay.
They use it. I think in the Boo saga they use them once.
Oh, okay.
In the Namekian saga, I think he uses it once.
Because when he gets to Namek in the anime, he gives one to
Krillin,
Gohan, and Vegeta.
Yeah. But that's the only time they use it.
Oh, okay.
After that, they don't use them anymore.
That's weird.
And for some reason, they completely heal and rejuvenate your stamina, but Goku ends up with a heart disease that it can't heal.
What the fuck?
I get so confused about some stuff in this.
Yeah.
Then the whole anime, it's very
Whatever.
not good. But in the game, like, it's kind of worthless to even use them. I used them once.
I used them once too.
Yeah, because it just felt so useless to use them for little fights when you had herbs growing everywhere.
Yeah, and the herbs are super easy to collect, and you could mass collect them by just revisiting areas.
Yeah. And even during fights, they had like 6 herbs just sitting around during the big fights.
Yeah,
so
like all the boss arenas, there was just herbs everywhere.
Yeah. I remember doing my first run through of this game and fighting Frieza and having to hide behind like a pillar and just staying there because if you get out of their view, they don't chase you.
Oh,
so if you just hide there, you can rejuvenate some energy, and then hopefully an herb will regrow and you can go find it.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, it was like, and now I'm like, man, I was dumb. Look at how
Right.
easy this fight was. But yeah, you end up in this little city and you do more fucking quests and you go to fight Vegeta and Nappa.
Yep.
And what's weird about this is that this never comes up again. The whole point of this is they want to get eternal life.
Yeah.
The whole point.
Yeah.
After that, after they say that, after the Frieza saga, never comes up again. Not once.
Weird.
By the way, Master Roshi has eternal life.
Oh.
He drank from the Fountain of Youth. So I'm like, why didn't you just tell him about the fucking Fountain of Youth?
What the fuck?
I'm just so confused. What is all this shit? Why is it all so rare and on one planet?
It's yeah.
I get so fucking confused.
Well, and they didn't even explain in the game how there was a set of Dragon Balls on Earth and also a set of Dragon Balls on Namek because the Namekians were the ones to use them, and they didn't also tell us that if the creator of the Dragon Balls gets killed, then the Dragon Balls disappear.
Yeah. So, but you never meet Guru either, who is the important guy on Namek in this game. They skipped a lot from the anime, which is weird because then they tied in the anime with the pictures and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You think they would just follow it verbatim or something, but I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
So here comes the most annoying part of the game to me, Namek.
Yes.
I think this... So one thing we didn't talk about is how lame the maps are.
They're awful.
Yeah, they're just boring. There's not a lot of secret stuff in them.
Like the first couple ones weren't bad. They were like most Pokemon kind of map kind of style things, but then they just progressively got worse and worse and worse, and got way more convoluted, way tighter areas to fight things.
You randomly will run into walls that aren't there just because there's like something that's kind of blocking the way that takes up a block.
Yeah. Going around certain things, like if you want to go around a rock, you have to find the certain pathway that lets you go around it, because it makes it seem like you could go, but you can't, and then you'll move up a little and then you can. It's like, what the fuck?
So on Namek, your friends are dying to the Ginyu Force, and you're planting trees.
Yep, you're planting trees for a bunch of Namekians, and you're collecting artifacts to put into the labyrinth-style museum.
And why are you doing this?
I don't even remember.
To preserve Namekian culture.
That's all getting slaughtered by
wait, what happens at the end of the game, Steven?
Everyone gets brought back to life?
No, Namek gets blown up.
Namek gets blown up. Never mind.
I'm like, why am I planting these fucking trees?
I forgot Namek blows up, sorry.
Yeah, the trees were kind of obnoxious to find too.
They were.
They didn't look, they look like regular like on-screen trees, which is not what you want. You want them to look different because you need a reason to go and click on them.
Yes, exactly.
I found one by fucking random because I accidentally hit the A button.
So I only knew about like a bunch of the stuff in this game because I was playing with a walkthrough, because I got so annoyed at a lot of these things because there's certain, like, especially the spirits, like finding the spirits in that one.
No, that wasn't too bad.
That was annoying. Finding
it's
the
just
trees
that they're
annoying.
big maps somewhat, and there's a lot of obstacles to get around them, and it's confusing to find out where you are. So,
which almost every one of the maps, all the hidden items, top left, top right, bottom right.
Oh, that's another point. I died. Sorry. This is where I died. I died after doing the King Kai's planet. Right when I got back from that first dinosaur you find in the forest. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't saved since before Hell.
Oh, shit.
So I had to do all of that over again. Damn. I was like, God, fuck me.
Yeah,
my dumbass. It didn't take long. It's still just fucking annoying.
The fucking labyrinth of that museum or whatever the fuck.
And that was my favorite part because at least there were secrets.
Fuck that. No, the secrets were okay, but the going through that was so ridiculous.
Trying to figure out the different color associations on where to go.
Well, so many of them would bring you to the same place.
Yeah. That was the point, that you had trial and error. You try this one. If that one doesn't work, try this one. If that one doesn't work, keep doing, rinse and repeat until it works.
You'll have, in the first room, there's like 4 buttons or colored platforms to go on to transport you to different ways. Like 2 of them go to the same place, 2 of them go to 2 random places, and then of those 2 random places, 2 other buttons in those places also go back to the first place.
Yeah.
And so like every room had a place that would go back to the very beginning.
Yeah.
And it was so annoying because you're like, oh, I've made it through 5 of these platforms. Now I'm going to definitely get to the one that leads me to the right way. And then you go back to the beginning and be like, God fucking damn it. And then like, where did I have to go the last time?
You didn't remember? You're fucking trash.
Dude, this was stupid.
I think it's really funny that there were secret passageways. Just because you're looking at a top view.
Yeah.
So they're not secret to anyone who's looking at them 3D
and the secret passageways were a hand pointing to where the secret passageway was.
It
really wasn't a secret.
As I'm going through, I didn't understand that. I was like, why are there a bunch of hand statues everywhere? Because it looked like some of them were pointing to text. Mm-hmm. So I'd read the text. I'm like, what the fuck does this have to do? Right. It's just saying like, Namekian rule number 6. Don't jerk off on your keyboard.
Yes, exactly. See, it's even a Namekian rule.
Yeah, but like that's what it would be. Like, so, and it looked like they were pointing at these fucking things. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I accidentally walked into a wall and I'm like, oh, I see. Yeah.
I was playing this with a guide and kept getting lost in this. That's how stupid this fucking place is.
Yeah, and it's kind of dumb too because there's a quest to get 3 artifacts.
Yeah.
And you find 2 of them outside the temple.
And then 1 inside.
And you're like, one's already fucking inside. What the hell am I going to put this in? It's already hidden. Just keep it here.
And they don't even tell you what you're putting it in there. So, like, you're just, like, wandering around and, like, wondering, oh, do I click on this? Do I click on this? Do I click on this?
Yeah, you're basically just going everywhere.
You go through this giant maze to finally get to this thing, and it's very obvious when you see the room where you're putting them. And I'm like, oh, well, this is fucking stupid.
Well, the biggest clue was, like, if you're progressing through it, it's the statues. They have Dragon Balls they're holding, and each one has a star on it. And if you're on the 1 star, you know you're in the right place. If you get to the 2 star, oh, I made it. But then it goes
I didn't even look at that.
It goes from 1 to 7, but it skips like 6 or 5.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm like, what the fuck is the point in this? Why even skip 1?
A lot of stupid decisions are made in the making of this game.
Yeah, so the Namekian, I thought by far it's the coolest just because it actually had secrets.
I didn't care enough for the secrets, and they weren't that great.
No, they're not that great.
They were herbs.
Yeah. Herbs
that you could get tons
of. A sensu bean
outside.
Somehow. Sensu beans are made on Earth, by the way.
Yeah.
So I don't know how there was a sensu bean in there. But and they clearly didn't have any because they were dying. So, but yeah, it's just annoying that such a big temple. It's such a convoluted way to get through it, and then just to have no clues on. Like they have text on the walls. Why not clue them?
Yeah, and it's like
if you look for purple, you will find your way.
Is the Namekian temple actually built like this?
There is no Namekian temple.
So why even have it in the game?
Listen, don't question Webfoot.
That's even more confusing.
There's no temple in the anime or the manga. I don't know.
So why put one?
I have no idea, actually. I think it was just to add another element to the game.
You could have done more of the actual story.
Yeah, true. They could have, but they didn't.
They could have done him training on the ship.
Maybe that's
I don't know.
Maybe because of how convoluted it is, it's an unnatural like grinding area. Because you're stuck.
It's not a grinding area. That area sucks.
Yeah, but what I mean, like, is you have to keep going through the same area and killing the same enemies, and then make a mistake, go back, and then kill the same enemies.
Yeah, but those enemies only give you 10,000 experience.
No, it's 30. Those are the 30,000 ones.
The 30,000 ones don't come until you're Vegeta's operatives.
I think those are level based. I was getting
it's his elite ones by his ship are the only ones that
get 30,000 experience. So maybe it was 10. Yeah. But whatever. I mean, whatever. I was like that grind. Like a motherfucker. That grinded me from like 12 to 18, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like we said, it wasn't too hard to get leveled up once you were there. But once you were higher level, it was ridiculous. So I would try to find the highest experience things, and those were Vegeta's or not Vegeta's, Frieza's
Vegeta.
elite operatives near his ship were the only ones, and those ones were also way harder to kill.
Were they?
Yeah.
I remember one-shotting those ones too.
You could one-shot them if you got a crit, but if you didn't crit, they were harder to kill. It was
they after the Namekian temple, you basically go out, fight the Ginyu Force, you find everyone dead. Not dead, but dying pretty much.
Yeah.
But they're all alive. Then you go into his elite soldiers, and it gives you the option to go into this tank to heal yourself.
Yep.
Because somehow,
rejuvenation tank.
Even though you have 3 sensu beans on you, you can't use those. So you have to use this tank.
Yep.
And it says basically, like, don't go into this tank if you don't want to fight Frieza at a low level.
Yeah, which they shouldn't have said that.
No, they shouldn't have.
I kept on leaving because I was like, oh, I'm not high enough level yet to keep going.
So after the first 2 fights, so after the first Frieza fight and the second Frieza fight, when he transforms. So Frieza transforms a total of 4 times. From base form to first form, I didn't level up. From first form to second form, I did level up to 23. Then from third form to fourth form, so right before the final form, from second to third, I didn't level up. Well, no, first to second. So original to first to second. Yeah, from second to third. Why does it matter
when you leveled up?
So listen to this. It matters because I leveled up from 22 to 23 from the first 3. Okay. From after the third one, after I beat the third one, I leveled up from 23 to 25.
Probably because they wanted you at 25.
Yeah, so all that stuff you did
was for nothing.
Was for nothing. It was going to auto level you up to 25.
I fucking realize that now, but
I wanted to go through the whole game again and try that at like level 10 to see if it could get you to 25. Maybe. I thought that would be funny, but I didn't want to like sit there and not.
Yeah, I don't want to spend another 8 hours on this game.
Yeah, 8 hours. This took me 2.5 hours to get.
I think I played a total of like 8 to 9 hours on.
I will say normal play time is probably 2 to 4.
I would say no. Most people are going to struggle with this.
I don't know. It wasn't that hard to pick up. I hadn't played it since I was a kid, and I still got it.
Good for you, but just saying, this style of game.
If you're bad at games.
And if you don't get how the solar flare works, and you spend a lot of time, I also spent a shit ton of that time getting the experience.
Oh yeah,
because I was grinding.
You shouldn't have grinded.
And grinding that 1.5 million experience with the highest thing on the map that you could do was 30,000 experience. That took me fucking forever.
Yeah. I mean, you imagine you need 1.5 mil for one level.
Yes.
Right. So at 1.5 mil, at 30,000, every 3 is 90. So if 3 is 90, then 10 is 300,000, 20 is 600,000, 30 is 900,000, 40 is 1,200,000.
Yeah.
So you need to kill 50 enemies.
Yes.
If it takes
just
you
one level.
If you're not using the solar flare method and one-shotting them.
Exactly.
It's taking you like 6 hits per enemy at least. Yes. Probably more sometimes.
So like 30 seconds or more per enemy.
Yeah, and you have to do that 50 times.
Yes.
So
for one level. And I went all the way to 25 before I fucking finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that was stupid of you.
Yeah, it was.
You done messed up.
I done messed up, but I wanted to make sure that I was going to be strong enough to fight these bosses.
Yeah. So at the Frieza fight, this is the lamest fight in the history of this fucking game.
Yeah.
So like you get there and you fight Frieza, all your people are still alive. I think Vegeta's dead at this point.
I can't remember.
In the game it doesn't show it, but in the anime he's dead.
Oh, okay.
Krillin and Gohan are still alive. Yeah. Piccolo's there.
Yeah.
Piccolo, I think it said it in the game. I don't remember.
I think they did say his name, but he's dead.
No, well, he got revived. So in the anime, they used the Namekian Dragon Balls to revive Piccolo and to send him to Namek.
Oh, okay. I guess I haven't gotten to that part in the story yet.
Yeah, so what's weird is I don't quite understand this. The dragon can only do what the creator can do.
Oh, okay. So
by that knowledge, doesn't that mean the creator can just like make people immortal?
I guess.
Like the dragon's power can't exceed the creator's power, but it seems like the dragon is way fucking strong.
I thought Shenron was way more powerful than everybody.
Nope, apparently not.
Okay, that makes no sense.
It can only be as strong as...
None of this makes any sense.
No. So you have all these people here. People are alive, but they're not shown.
Yeah.
You just get to the Frieza fight. You're like, yeah, fight. Screw everyone else. You beat the first 3 forms, and then he kills Krillin.
Yep, because Krillin cheers you on.
No, he throws a Destructo Disc.
In the game, no, he just cheers him on.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, and then...
Shut up!
And then he's like, oh, how dare you, blah, 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 and then just kills him.
I think in the anime, I can't remember now, but he does something. Yeah, he just fucking just... He pulls them up like the Force, like what Darth Vader does. He literally does this and then closes his fist, and that blows him up.
It doesn't show anything in this. It just shows Frieza going up to Krillin and then Krillin lying on the floor.
Yeah. And Goku's like, you killed my friend!
And then he goes Super Saiyan.
And yeah, like we said, it's worthless. It doesn't add anything.
It never described anything about Super Saiyan throughout this at all.
No, and it's not supposed to.
Well, in the anime and in the Kakarot game...
Yeah, like Vegeta mentions it several times because he's prideful.
And then on Namek, a lot of the other people, including the Ginyu Force, bring it up. Like, oh, is he the legendary warrior?
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, that's not...
Is he the legendary anime. Super Saiyan? Oh, okay.
That's not in the anime.
And so
they wouldn't know anything about Saiyans.
Why would this not be brought up at all?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, at no point do you know that Vegeta's now on your side, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like,
It's kind of like Gohan's like, Vegeta and us are fighting because we all don't want Frieza to win. But it's like, but that's not even how that happened because they're teaming up kind of because of that reason, but not really.
At first they don't.
Yeah.
and then Bulma's supposed to be there too, and she's nowhere to be fucking seen. No idea where she is. Like, it just gets insane. Guru is important, but he's never mentioned at any given point. Like, you see a fat statue that looks like Guru.
Yeah, and then that's it.
Yeah, you beat Frieza, and then the planet blows up, and they're like, I wonder what happens in the future. And then that's it.
Yep. That's the game.
Yep.
Cool.
Way to go, game. You did it.
All right,
well, let's move on.
Worf or not.
Now, for what this game did at the time, I will say it was good. I remember really enjoying it when I was a kid. I'm sure if you played it as a kid, you would have enjoyed it too.
Probably so.
Now that we have more idea of what good games are, we don't care.
Yeah.
Or we care more, but as a kid, we didn't care at all.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I'd say, like, yeah, worth it to play. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it spawned something that was amazing.
Yes.
Right? So, like, the future games get really good.
I'm actually contemplating playing the future games.
Yeah, because you're see, and that's the weird part is like this game is bad, but it was good enough to get through.
Yeah, and there was still like me as a person who doesn't have a lot of Dragon Ball knowledge going into this, and like having enough to be kind of interested to play this. Like going through this, I got more and more interested the more and more I played through it, and wanted to complete the story, but just the gameplay itself was just atrocious. So the story itself was still interesting, and they did a good enough job at explaining the story that made it still viable.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's, I'm going to say, is nah for me. Only because, like, you could play the second one of this, or in my experience, playing Dragon Ball Kakarot right now, I'm having a fuck ton of fun with that.
Yeah.
And that one's just incredible to me. And it's exactly this exact same story, but you get all of what happens in the anime and probably a little bit that is different and stuff too.
Yeah.
But it is just a lot more true to it. It has all the characters. You get to play it. It's Dragon Ball Budokai style of fighting, so it's a lot better style of fighting for each one of the fights. And it's just a lot more fun. And it's the exact same story, so it's kind of like a remake of this game, basically.
Yeah, I'll go Worf, only because it's the start of an era. You could skip this game altogether, just play Legacy of Goku 2, honestly.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, none of the games reference each other.
Oh, okay.
Not really. Like, it references the story, but that's it.
Yeah.
But the stories are so independent from each other, you don't even have to worry about the backstory.
Okay.
Like, you know that you can become Super Saiyan or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, how did I get this power? Well, you can play the first one to find out.
Yeah.
But otherwise, who gives a shit?
All right.
Well, honestly, who cares?
Fair enough.
But, yeah, I think this game is Worf just because it started an entire series that turned out well. Just because this one turned out bad doesn't mean they all turned out bad.
Well, no, and I'm not saying don't play the rest of the series, but I'm saying like you would have to be interested in the series, to get through the struggle of the mechanics of the first one enough to play through.
I don't know. I think that's an exciting part, though, to some degree, right? Because I remember, dude, I can remember this so vividly. Playing this game, and then when Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku 2 came out, being so excited for it.
Yeah.
Like, and if you play this one, you can see the evolution of the game and see like, oh my God, this is insane how much better this is.
So for me, I feel like there's basically a couple different style of gamers out there. There's the gamers that love the retro style and will still cling on to some of the retro things and the feelings that they had for it. But for me, if I have a better version of this game to play, I'm not playing the worst version of it.
If they re-released it, I think it would be better. But what I'm saying
is this game in its entirety.
Yeah, but it's a little different. If you wanted to play the full series of what this game entails, you'd probably want to start with the first one.
Yeah.
If you start with the second one, again, you're going to be lacking some knowledge. You can totally do that.
Well, and if you have the knowledge of that season of anime, then you don't need to play it.
But in playing it, you get to see the evolution, which I think is the important part, because that's the most exciting thing to me about playing new games when they're a sequel, is seeing how much they improve from the old one, seeing how shitty it is compared to
which a lot of people actually say that the Legacy of Goku 2 had such a vast improvement that they don't know if there's another franchise that vastly improved that much from one game to the second.
Yeah.
Where it was that much of an impact, where it completely changed everything, going from one of the worst games mechanically to one of the best games for a Dragon Ball Z game.
Yeah.
Because Legacy of Goku 2 is in the top 3 of Dragon Ball games ever made, and it's for the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that
came out in like 2002 or 2003 or something.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That a Game Boy Advance game is one of the best games of this franchise.
But yeah, I think half of the excitement for these games for me is seeing how they improve.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even when I play a bad game, I don't put it down when I see it's bad. I keep playing until I'm done with it. Then I can shit on it all I want.
It depends on the game for me. It either has to have a good enough story or good enough mechanics.
Yeah. Well, I don't care.
And if it doesn't have good both, I will drop a game. If it doesn't have good mechanics or a good story, there's no point for me playing it.
Hi, Gwen.
There's just none. But this one had a good enough story for me that I could bypass the mechanics.
I'm hanging out with Gwen right now.
All right, well, you have fun with the dog. I want to finish this episode.
Hey, I'm going to go Worf. I think this game is kind of worth it if you wanted to continue with the series. If you want to play just this game, do not fucking play it.
Yeah.
Do not play this game if it's just the only one you're going to play.
Yeah, if you're only going to play one, play Kakarot.
Yeah, play any other Dragon Ball Z game.
Yeah.
Just any other. This one sucks compared to all the other
Xenoverse,
ones. You could play that shitty PlayStation one we were talking about earlier. That's better than this one is.
Is it Blast or Brawl?
I can't remember.
It's
been so. I played that in the fucking 90s.
It's like a Street Fighter version.
Yeah, but like that, play that instead of this. It's way better. This sucks compared to that.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna play the whole series, play the first one first. I think you might as well do it. Get over it. It's like 2 to 4 hours if you're okay at understanding like game mechanics. And like if you listen to us now, you know that fucking use
it's
solar flare.
Dave kind of tell me that before, but I didn't understand it, and I didn't understand like how fast or how much you had to do that until I actually like read up on it a little bit more. And like there are guides for this. Like IGN has a great walkthrough.
I know. I remember being like a teenager and looking at guides, and it's so funny to see how they're made because they didn't make them with like the DOM. They didn't fucking write it in React because all that stuff is newer. They just like when you see the separations of like the walkthrough. If you just look at the title and it says walkthrough and there's a bunch of lines going across it, that's just a bunch of fucking
code.
No, this
flashes. Yeah,
it's just that button. Yeah, I'm like, this is so funny. And then like they'll make little pictures using all the fucking buttons.
Well, those walkthrough sites,
hilarious.
Don't even go on those.
I love those ones.
No, those ones are so shit
because it's so cool. It's like, man, they worked really hard to write a giant version of DBZ with a bunch of lines.
But those, just go to IGN. IGN walkthroughs, perfect.
I loved it because I used to do that with Neopets when I played Neopets as a kid. And then look at the walkthroughs that way, and I'd be like, God, these are cool. How did they make these? And then I tried to make one for Knights of the Old Republic when I was a teenager. Yeah. I'm like, this is really hard. I don't want to write all this out on a single page document.
I remember my uncle used to make character like designs, like silhouettes of characters with just characters like from the keyboard or whatever. And I remember
so
he had a bunch of them like in his house, and like he had this Darth Vader one. And when I saw it, I was like, "That's the coolest thing ever! Using typography to make an image." I was like, "I've never thought of that in my entire life. It blew my mind."
Yeah, but it's the same as like the Minecraft shit, right?
Yeah, it's
literally
block by block.
Yeah, block by block. It's so stupid how impressed we were by this.
Yeah.
But I used to love those walkthroughs, guys. I know that's kind of a tangent, but those walkthroughs were fucking insanely stupid.
And I definitely highly recommend IGN walkthroughs.
Yeah,
not only because they're good,
and
but
they're hyperlinked. You can easily click on the part you're on. You can find everything you need. It lists out things better.
You make an account and you can literally, for a lot of things, especially the newer games, they have lists and you can check off everything that you've done.
Oh, nice.
And that's super convenient because if you're like, oh, have I found this one yet?
I wonder if they have an app.
Oh, I bet they probably do.
If they don't, they should.
They should.
Like, honestly, people would pay for that.
But I mean, I use it on my phone all the time. It works really well.
Yeah.
And I've done that a lot for certain things, like trying to 100% something that's like ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
I'll do my best to get through it. But if I'm getting to a point where I'm like, all right, I've spent too many hours on this.
I still have 17 achievements left. I'm fucking over it.
Yeah, I'm done. I just wanted to get this done.
All right, well, that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. Next week's game.
Yes. Double Switch.
So as we said before, this is the same makers as Night Trap. I played it a little. They do have a fucking song.
Nice. I was hoping they would.
But it's cooler because it's not them turning on the boombox for it. It's actually a band playing it.
Okay.
And I thought that was sweet. I'm like, man, this is a really chill apartment building that they have the band on the top floor just screaming out fucking metal.
And this one also had a 25th anniversary re-release.
Yeah, so we're playing the re-release.
Yep.
It's tough.
That's what I've heard. It's a little tougher.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna 100%. I think I'm gonna have to walk through this.
Okay.
It is so fucking. I've done 6 new games so far.
Oh geez.
Because each time I do it, like it has this meter that shows you how much sound is being made in a room.
Oh, okay.
And that's how you know to go to that room because someone's probably in there or doing something that's like a scene in a movie.
Yeah.
But each time it does that, it will do that for 5 rooms at the same time, and you don't know which room is important. And then if you fuck it up, it's hard to remember which room is important in which order because it's so quick to switch.
Yeah.
Also, in the first minute of the game, 10 people had already escaped. I'm like,
what the fuck?
How do you get them all? Like, you have to switch, button,
so
switch,
it's almost just like Night Trap in some of the levels.
Yeah, it's still that
having to be like everything.
I will say the traps are worse.
That's what I saw, like some stuff for the game. I haven't tried it yet, but yeah.
The traps, literally, you have to charge them.
Oh, what the fuck?
So you have to click to charge, and you have to do that. If you leave the room, you uncharge the traps.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so like if you could charge every room and then switch room to room and get them all done, that'd be great.
That's annoying.
Yeah, you can only charge 6 traps too, by the way. In one room, and usually you just charge the same trap 3 times, so you can
hit it 3 times.
Yeah, hit it and not fuck it up the first time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really bad so far, but it's fun. It's interesting.
Okay.
The story seems interesting.
Okay.
It reminds me a lot of the first part of Night Trap with the people in the van and everything.
Okay.
Because after that, they didn't get too much exposure after that. I mean, they did come into the house later on, but it feels more like that for the whole game.
Okay.
Which to me was better.
Yeah.
Now, all right, guys.
All right.
We will catch you next week with Double Switch.
Woohoo!
See y'all.
Bye.